FBA fees climbing, I'm losing my grip. Storage costs rising, they'll never let me skip. Refunds I'm eating, returns pile up too. Oh, Amazon, what else will you do? I look at my dashboard, my profits erased. My margins are gone, it's a slap in the face. Prime Day's a promise, but it's such a race. How much will I make if I'm replaced? It's a cruel, cruel number. Fees keep climbing, profits torn asunder. Oh, it's cruel, the sellers wonder how to survive when the margins go under. It's a cruel, cruel number. Every month it's something new to plunder. Oh, it's cruel, it's no wonder we're stuck in this game. The algorithm's thunder.
Yo, Amazon's back, and they got a new scheme. Reimbursement slashed, it's every seller's dream. They're digging deep, taking more from the pot. Let's break it all down, expose what they got. March 25, it's a policy drop. They say manufacturing costs, but we know it's a flop. Give us your cogs, the demand and the price. But if you don't, they'll estimate nice. Nice for them, not for you. Watch a payout shrink. That comprehensive evil is a corporate wing. Lost in the warehouse, damaged on the floor. Now they pay you pennies, not a cent more. Fees on the rise, profits on the run. They don't lift a finger, but they pocket the fun. We're fair! They shout while they cut our shares. Amazon math, man, it's full of errors. Fees, taking our dough. They're stacking the deck, and it's sellers who owe. Reimbursements? Nah, they're taking us down, but we're still here, we don't mess around. Fees, straight to the top. Amazon's game, it'll never stop. Margins tight, but we keep the grind. Sellers unite, we're one of a kind.
I try to sell my product on Amazon, thought it'd be a breeze. But little did I know I'd be stuck with seller support disease. They never seem to solve my problems, just give me the runaround. I'm tired of waiting on hold. My patience is wearing thin, I'll never be found. Amazon seller support, you suck, you suck, you suck. Can't get no satisfaction. I'm out of luck, out of luck, out of luck. You don't care about my business, just trying to make a buck. Amazon seller support, you suck, you suck, you suck.
This one's for the sellers on the grind, getting left on red, wasting all their time. I hit up support, got an auto reply. Thanks for your patience, man, I wanna cry. Inventory lost, my margins are toast. The reps playing tag like the Casper the Ghost. They pass me around, it's a never-ending game. Nobody takes action, everybody shifts blame. My ASIN's down, I'm out of the race. They say they'll escalate, yo, what a disgrace. Amazon seller support, you're breaking my heart. No answers, no fixes, just tearing me apart. Hours in the queue, stuck in the dark. Amazon seller support, you're missing the mark.
Amazon game plan, that is the key. Seller central dashboard, that's where I be. Analyze the funnel, see what we lack, then we optimize. Sellers know it's a fact. I get it poppin', you know that it's lit. Climbing the rankings, ain't no room to quit. I check the data, they notice the stats. I keep the method, that's how you adapt. Metrics are showing, you know it's our cap. Amazon sellers, it's time to react. I'm about that action, I do this with passion. I got them like, whoa, what is this? Huh, whoa.
I don't know, dude. I think everybody's just buying stuff based on reviews and badges or whatever. They don't even know who we are. These customers don't even know the name of my brand. But they keep clicking add to cart like it's part of the plan. They see that Amazon badge and think it's all grand. But yo, they don't even know the name of my brand.
Click, scroll, build your store. Amazon's waiting, what you waiting for? Brand it loud, make it shine. Steven's here to drop the rhyme. Blue tiles, banners, plug and play. Your storefront's live, let's sell a day. Now listen up, I'm Steven Pope, Amazon guru, I'll help you cope. Step 1, get that that trademark stamped. Without brand registry, your Amazon cramped. Head to Seller Central, log in quick. Manage stores tab, yeah, that's the trick. Upload your logo, flex that style. You're about to make Jeff Bezos smile. Where pick a template, marquee or grid. Drop your tiles like a branding whiz. Hero image, big and bold. This store's gonna glitter like digital gold. Flex, scroll, build your store. Amazon's waiting, what you waiting for? Brand it loud, make it shine. Steven's here to drop the rhyme. Blue tiles, banners, plug and play. Your storefront's live, let's sell today. Yo. In the trenches of the Amazon game, trying to survive while it's driving me insane. Nobody warns you, they just claim it's passive income. Nah, it's pain. I'm sitting at a birthday, laughing, chilling, next to a newbie Amazon seller spilling. She's like, Prime so smooth, it's a killer. Then tried to sell, now she's stuck in a thriller. Finding products, yeah, that's the first grind. Scrolling Alibaba, losing my mind. Samples suck, manufacturers decline. I'm like, dang, how's anyone doing this fine? Ship it in, pay for the bubble wrap, but they ship glass bottles in padded crap. Now I got hot sauce leaks, refund stack, customers pissed. Man, I'm under attack. Amazon's a beast, it's a fight, no peace. From SEO to PPC, the hustle don't cease. Think it's passive? Nah, you better increase your tolerance for chaos or face defeat. Trademark wars, brand registries a scam. They banned my brand, now I'm in a jam. Listings yanked, products ranked and tanked. Lost dogs in the catalog, my account shanked. Now let's talk ads, it's a rabbit hole. 1,000 hours deep, man, it's taking my soul. Weekly negations, bulk sheets for control. Excel's my new weapon, but it's taking its toll. SEO's no joke, keywords in the game. All text, A+ content, playing insane. Lifestyle shots, avatars for fame, but the CTR's low. All products look the same. Amazon's a beast, it's a fight, no peace. From SEO to PPC, from SEO to PPC, the hustle don't cease. Think it's passive? Nah, you better increase your tolerance for chaos or face defeat.
Let's go to Mac School. To Mac School. Class is now in session with Professor Pope.
They got the SOP, cause Professor Pope wrote the recipe. Helping Amazon sellers grow sales exponentially. Amazon's a jungle, but we map the strategy. Brand strategist playbook, it's a guide to victory. Troubleshooting catalogs, you know we got the answer key. Boosting all your rankings, turning sales into a legacy. SOB so deep, you'd think we studied at Mac School. Every step we follow leads to growth, yeah, it's a golden rule. Stuck on keywords, we'll find the ones that work the best. Using Helium-10, strike distance keywords pass the test. Incremental indexing ensures the listing set to rise. From the back end to the bullets, optimization hits the skies. Brand store creation, yeah, we make it shine and flow. A+ content design makes conversions overflow. Need your images on point, best practices in the plan. All text and photo rules ensure your visuals command. SEO meets PPC, it's balanced, every step aligned. We'll construct the MKLs that drive rankings over time. Budget caps and bid adjustments, no more wasted spending. Segmentation builds campaigns that sellers can defend. Got a hijacker, no problem, we'll file to take them down. Review requests in action, 5-star ratings come around. Flat file updates, market share reports, it's all in reach. Professor Pope wrote the SOP so sellers learn and teach.
Meanwhile, my Amazon guys on the case, fixing up my problems at lightning pace. Ticket escalations, Mag's the boss. Even Amazon says we'll take the loss. Seller support don't know what's up. Passing the buck when the issue gets tough. They're the official team, but they can't comply. So they say, reach out to my Amazon guy. They're supposed to be the pros, but they can't decode policies and tools from their own damn road. I'm paying fees, yet they bring me stress. But Mag turns my chaos into pure success. Seller support reps, they throwing shade, but then admit, yo, Mag will get you paid. Third-party agency taking the throne while Amazon fumbles in their own damn zone. Seller support don't know what's up. Passing the buck when the issue gets tough. They're the official team, but they can't comply. So they say, reach out to my Amazon guy. So here's the truth, let's keep it real. Mag's the team with the pro-level skill. Amazon sellers, you know the vibe when support says call Mag. They'll give you peace of mind. Amazon seller support, you can suck my image stack. Sucking is all you're good at anyway. Bezos, hit me up if you want to sell seller support. I'm buying. There's a chase. Peace.
Hello and happy Friday, everybody. My name is Noah Wickham. I'm sales director here at My Amazon Guy, and we are here to answer any and all questions that you might have about Amazon, e-commerce, direct-to-consumer, marketing, advertising, everything. I don't know. Whatever you have a question on, feel free to throw it in the chat, and we will get to it as they come through. So thank you for joining us this Friday. We do this every single Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern for those that are new here. So let's dive right in today. So first question off the bat. Hey, Noah, how's it going? It's going great. This is Luis from Brazil. Fantastic. Love that. I'm a new seller trying to compete with the Chinese brands. Oof. Yep. Rough. I sell swimwear like one pieces, bikinis, and so on. I was wondering if you could share some benchmarks for this category. Things like conversion rates, target ACoS tacos, click-through rates, or any other KPIs that really matter for swimwear. What would you say are realistic expectations for new sellers in this niche? Thanks so much for all the awesome content you share. Not a problem. All right. So swimwear in general. So swimwear is actually a pretty rough category to be in. I will be fully transparent with you, not going to sugarcoat it. And that is because it is a saturated category. Not only that, you are competing with people who are likely making the product for cents on the dollar comparatively to you. So a lot of your competitors just have way more margin, way cheaper prices than you do, as you have seen with the Chinese sellers. So how do you really benchmark that? Well, a couple of things. Benchmarks are not something as far as like ACoS tacos that should be categorical. It should be business related, right? So tacos metric, for instance, needs to be in line with your overall profit goals and your overall brand goals. Same thing with your ACoS. If you are not necessarily making money at the end of the day with your advertising, what's the point in advertising? So tacos should be your go-to standard. I typically recommend between 8 and 12% for moderate growth. If you're trying to be aggressive, 15 to 20% tacos is what I would consider to be very aggressive growth. Now, that being said, apparel usually has much slimmer margins than most categories. So you might want to ease back on that a little bit comparatively. So that's first and foremost. Now, talking about things such as conversion rate. Apparel actually has a pretty high conversion rate on average. So usually apparel is going to be somewhere around a 15% conversion rate. But the big but here, apparel also has one of the highest return rates out of any category there is. So understand that even with the average conversion rate being much higher, you're also likely to get a lot of returns within this category as well, which can suck. Click-through rate, very similar. Anything above a 0.5% click-through on your like advertising is always good. That's something I'm always going to push for, no matter what category you're in at the end of the day. So all that being said, those are kind of some of the basic ones I would shoot for as far as metrics goes, but it really comes down to your business and your goals. Within it, I've seen people who, are supplement sellers, and they are fine having over 100% average ACoS as long as their tacos stays a consistent number, which makes sense because if you are advertising towards a certain brand of some kind or a certain product of some kind, and your taco stays very consistent, even if you are losing money on the advertising, quote unquote, you technically are still growing as a brand organically if your tacos never moves. So just some food for thought there. We got Viper, who says, "Hi, Noah. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. What is the best way to test a new main image for a listing that was image suppressed due to their CTR changes? A/B test, create a FBM listing, or just swap out the main image. I want it to be ready for Prime Day." So first and foremost, I would run a PickFu. I know PickFu is a little expensive, but anybody who's curious, they can go on over to our third-party recommended services site. Go there, and I think you get like a $25 credit or something through us if you go to PickFu. So would do a PickFu if you can. First and foremost, that will give you some immediate feedback when it comes to what you are looking for. I would run the A/B test. That's going to take a couple of weeks, but if you start it now, you will have the data that you want by the time that Prime Day rolls around. We are likely about 1 month, 30 days out from Prime Day. So you'll have some good data by then, and you can end up stopping the A/B test and just pushing forward with it if you want. So hopefully that helps. We got ourselves a couple of donos in here. Fantastic. Love this. Oh, here we go. I want my brand name on Amazon, my seller store to be El Paso Salsa Company without the other verbiage. Example, my brand name is currently showing up as El Paso Salsa Company, established 2015, handmade in El Paso, Texas. That brand name also shows up like that on my trademark. Do I need to register a new trademark? If so, will I lose my associated ASIN contributions and reviews if I change my brand name? All right. Well, first and foremost, thank you for the contribution there, or the super chat. I don't know what they call it on YouTube, but anyways, all right. So let's talk about this. So your current brand name is El Paso Salsa Company, established 2015, handmade in El Paso, Texas. That is what your trademark is as well. So what you will need to do to change the brand name here is you are going to, yes, need to do a new trademark, specifically for the El Paso Salsa Company. Now, that being said, what do you do once you get the trademark? Well, once you get the trademark, you will then have to, yes, go through the brand registry process. You will then have 2 brands under brand registry, and you are going to have to take the products and you are going to have to change them from one brand to the other. You can potentially lose contribution rights if you do this improperly. The most important thing here is to understand how to go about this. You will want to have essentially a picture of your product. You can take that with just a phone camera next to the actual product packaging, or even better yet, on the product itself with the new brand name. Open up a brand registry support ticket for every single one of your ASINs and have them change over the brand name. So that's how you essentially change the brand name without actually going through and creating a new ASIN. So you don't have to lose any of the contribution of your ASIN. All that should change at the end of the day is just the El Paso Salsa Company. Let's see here. Good question, though. Crazy fun. Hi, it's Ahmed here. Hey, how's it going, Ahmed? I have a product with 3 variation, main variation price, $7.99 competitive. How to tackle the PPC in low price range products. It have been 1 month now. ACoS is 70%. Yeah. So if you have a very, very low cost product or low priced product, PPC is always going to be difficult, right? Because you can only spend a couple of cents realistically. So this is, I think, the biggest aspect where, again, I talk about tacos being one of the most important metrics for you at the end of the day, because what you realistically need to do is you need to consistently optimize for your organic ranking while continuously driving sales, right? So PPC is going to drive those sales. You really can't worry about ACoS too much in this capacity. You are likely going to have a high ACoS regardless. Now, can you pull that ACoS back over time to maybe closer to a 30% or a 20%? Absolutely. But the big thing I need to emphasize here is that you should focus on your tacos. If you're sitting at 70% ACoS and your tacos is like 8%, and you're putting more and more money into advertising and it's staying consistent at 8%, I don't find that to be an issue whatsoever. Viper asks, I have 2 to 3 products I want to launch this year. One can be a variation of a previous product. When should I launch them, with the earliest being end of July? Or is it more beneficial to launch Q4? No, I would definitely launch probably sometime middle of Q3. You want to launch middle of Q3, one, to get inventory in. I would put inventory in ready for Q4 sales. But also Q3 gives you enough time to start to actually index and rank for keywords on those new products, so that by the time, Fall Prime Day rolls around, Black Friday rolls around, Christmas rolls around, you already have some good indexing and ranking to play off of for those products. So I'm typically more of a middle to late Q3 launch rather than launching direct into Q4, because you never know what might end up happening with Q4. And you want to be prepped before that actually gets there. Cost per click is $1.20 and conversion average 15%. How to lower ACoS? Yeah, the cost per click is going to be your issue. What you could do is you could focus on lower cost per click. I'm guessing the 1.2 is probably high search volume, high relevancy keywords. You could really broaden what you're actually targeting on your keyword side, so that you can kind of bring that down over time. Kevin says, good afternoon from Lakeland, Florida. Good afternoon, Kevin. Give me one sec here, guys. I'm trying to pull this up. There we go. All right. Hey, another Noah. Fantastic. I love that. Noah, I'm dealing with a competitor taking over 60%, over my niche. Lowest place wins. Am I right? What? Over my niche, lowest price. Oh, you're asking if lowest price wins if you're right. Yeah, I mean, price is always going to be the number one converting factor at the end of the day. If you have somebody who is very similarly priced to yourself, and you are essentially in a scenario where they are just beating you, then yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do, especially if there's not a lot of different types of products or competitors within the space. I think that's something that people run into fairly often. And so if this is the case and somebody's just coming in under half price, I would try and compete with them on price, but you can also compete on value, I guess, is the biggest thing. If you have a brand, for instance, and brand recognition within a niche and some random new player who's just lower price comes in, they might not immediately take over all of the niche, right? It only comes down to so much at the end of the day. Josh Kennedy. 1 of 2. Happy Friday, Noah. Happy Friday. I received an email from Amazon. Action E at Amazon Business has awarded you a credential. Okay. I would have to use Supplier Gateway to apply for small business certification for the small business credential. Should I do this? Yeah, you're actually the second person this week to get that email and ask me about this, funny enough. So what I typically will recommend to people at the end of the day is that, can it help you somewhat with conversions? Maybe, but I don't think anyone on Amazon consumer-wise is truly like being, or I should say a very small amount of people on Amazon are going to see the small business thing and be like, yeah, I want to buy from them. They're a small business. They care about the product. They care about the price. They care if it's going to meet the demand that they have, right? Or solve the problem they have. So it's great. I mean, do it if you can. There's no reason not to do it at the end of the day, but it is just something to be aware of that, yeah. Let's see. I received a 1-star review from a customer who claims she received the product opened and used. However, we always ship our products with protective cellophane. Okay. So it's impossible that she found it open unless it was tampered with. Any advice on how to handle this, considering customer support doesn't seem to understand? There's not a lot you can do, unfortunately, in this situation. I would verify one thing first and foremost, verify to make sure that Amazon does not have for returns the ability to then sell it as a used product. Because if you have used like new sold by Amazon warehouse on your listing, there's an entire chance that's what she actually bought it as. And so that's something that can happen, I suppose. But, there's also times where I would be cautious when customers say this. They say it's tampered with. If you have cellophane on there, what's the actual likelihood, I should say, of it not just ripping when somebody's packaging it together, right? There's a lot of times where customers will claim things and it's not really as big of a deal as it is. So take everything with a grain of salt when customers are returning any type of product that for that reason, but also double check to make sure that Amazon isn't doing any used like new or sold like new products on your listings. What do you think of the Amazon AI video generation tools? Is it worth it, or am I better off doing it myself with AI? Better off doing it yourself. I mean, I think Amazon's come a long way as far as what they can do, but they lack so much depth with their videos. Like, the biggest issue I see with the Amazon AI video is that so often than not, you will end up getting essentially a video where, let's say my product, I want a picture where my product's like this. Fantastic, right? Well, the Amazon AI video will like put my product, and let's say that this little couch is like a stand or something. I don't know how to do this. They'll put the product like, I'm trying to, there we go. They'll put the product like this sitting on the couch, right? And they'll be like, oh, that's how you want it, right? And it's just, it doesn't work that way, right? That's not how a product dimension works. That's not a table. So it just comes up in those capacities pretty often. I can't believe I can't. Let's see if I can do that again. I'm really bad at this whole positioning while on camera thing, but either way, who cares? I think you get what I'm saying. I would just do it yourself. I agree with Noah. He knows what he is saying. Hey, thanks. I really hope so. Really hope so. Say you onboard an account with mature listings, have thousands of views, images look good and optimized, and they want to increase sales on their Amazon side of the business. What's your plan of action? Where are you starting? Competitor analysis, category analysis, follow that up with an understanding of what they're currently doing from an advertised perspective, understand what their total search volume is. So do they actually even have any search volume as a brand for people searching directly for their products? If not, that's a great place to start. If they do, fantastic. How much of that is the actual funnel? Can we widen that funnel through something like display or DSP? There's a lot of different areas you can target when it comes to optimizing. What is their organic keyword ranking? Do they have 1,000 keywords, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000? I don't know. So there, it depends. I hate that that's such an answer, but it is. There's so many different little niche things that could happen here. Let's see. Hi, Noah. Any advice for high bid keywords? Because the niche is relatively new and trending. So a lot of new sellers are coming in and the bids are getting very high. I would focus on where it's not high. So I understand the idea of a niche, but try and figure out what the long tail is, right? People aren't usually searching for things without giving a little bit of detail behind them, right? So figure out what the broad matching you can do is and figure out what the long tail is. What are people not targeting yet, but is still a relevant or highly relevant area, so to speak? These are, I think the best ways to truly understand, what you're going to end up having at the end of the day. I had 209 reviews on my parentage. Nice. I'm now down to 163 reviews. All of them have been removed within the last 3 weeks. I haven't done any review manipulation. I even purchased the 30 review Vine for all 5 products in the parentage. Okay, so I've only seen this. I only see people get reviews removed typically due to 2 reasons. The first reason being exactly what you're saying, review manipulation. The second reason is a little different. The second reason I typically see it happen is because the accounts that bought your product and reviewed it were technically speaking breaking rules, and they weren't real accounts. It can happen where, especially with all of these different review manipulation tools out there or businesses, what they will do is they will go through and they will make the accounts seem like they're real by reviewing a bunch of different products before they start the process of reviewing true products. So that could happen. It could be that Amazon changed a terms of service around what is and isn't a review people can leave. That happens as well. You would have to see what the reviews were that got removed. If you have some examples of specific ones that got removed, I could look at those and give you a little bit more insight, though. Hey, Noah, one more question if I could. Do you have any sense on the inventory size to be eligible to one-day delivery in most states? I don't. So I think standard is typically, so it has to be standard. It can't be oversized. You can't do one-day delivery for oversized goods. I know that. Standard is just the most common at the end of the day, but you also have to actually have your product in all of those different warehouses. The only way that you're going to have that happen is if you have a lot of inventory and you are selling a lot of units, because Amazon chooses where your products go as far as fulfillment centers, and they separate it based on where your sales are. So I wouldn't focus so much on the idea of one-day delivery in most states. I'd focus on the idea of one-day delivery in the states that matter to you. And the only way to do that, get more sales in those states. I have a separate company. I'm doing Amazon Oh, actually, Luis, I'm also going to mention one-day delivery only works for places that have an Amazon warehouse near them. So think of it in this capacity. If you're selling like a very niche type product, let's say that you're selling a hunting product, so to speak. I live in Michigan, right? I know plenty about the hunting scene. Let's say you're selling a hunting product, maybe a turkey whistle or something. Well, a lot of the people who are typically going to be purchasing something like a turkey whistle or any other hunting product, they probably live in a little bit, let's say, rural of an area, right? If I just, let's even pull up a map here, Luis. So let's say that, can I share my screen here? It's going to be fun. This is a little bit of a understanding of Amazon. All right. So I have a map here, and you can see this is Michigan. I live here. Okay. So where I live, I'll zoom in here. I'll actually do, wrong thing. Let's do this. There we go. All right. So I live here. Within 30 minutes of me, I have 2 different Amazon warehouses. There's one, I think, down like this way. And then there is another one over this way. Now, the reason I bring that up is that hunting equipment. If I wanted to get 1-day delivery on a product that is a hunting product, I easily could, because 2 of the largest Amazon warehouses in the state are within 30 minutes of me. There's another one over in Lansing. There's another one over here in Kalamazoo. There's like 3 different ones in Detroit. But let's say that you live up in Johannesburg. Well, up near Johannesburg, I believe in the north side of the state, there is only one warehouse, and that warehouse is somewhere around here. But the point being is that Johannesburg can't get 1-day delivery. No matter what you do, you will not be able to sell 1-day delivery to Johannesburg. So the reason for that is because the closest warehouses aren't near Johannesburg, right? It takes more than 1 day to get something over here at the end of the day. So the reason I bring this up is that when you ask about the 1-day delivery, make sure product fit makes sense. And this goes to you, Luis, but it also goes to everyone else. I know, for instance, Luis, you were saying that you sell like swimwear, for instance, right? Think about that a lot in the sense that, if we're looking again at Michigan here, a lot of people in Michigan swim. North Point does not get 1-day delivery, right? Beaver Island doesn't get 1-day delivery. Arcadia doesn't. Ludington doesn't. All these places that are like where people are going to buy swimwear, right? Who are on the beach. Those are places where essentially you aren't going to see that as common, right? No matter what you do. So, anyways, thought that was a little fun way to go about things. I have a separate company I'm doing Amazon KDP in. I want to expand it to trivia games. However, currently I do have a category in my FBA store that is toys and games. They might be the same category. Will that be a problem? No, that shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. If it's different product and everything, it's totally fine. Buy box winning strategies, how to find coupons, products, IP solution. I don't know what you're asking here, Eli. You're just typing things. You're not actually asking questions. Unfortunately, I need at least like a little bit more than just like 2 words to go off of. I'm not just going to riff here. I know. What's the most budget-friendly way to test a product? Or do we have to go all in with the A+ content, Vine, etc., just to get the initial validation? Budget-friendly way to test a product, would be to probably order a very small amount of it and do like FBM. That's realistically the most budget-friendly. You don't have to do A+ content. You don't have to do Vine. Most budget-friendly is, yes, just order 100 units and try it on FBM. You won't have as much success with that as you would if you wanted to try like FBA, though. But FBA is going to be a little bit more expensive. You would want like 250 units minimum to start. So budget friendly, 100 units, FBM, get it done. Spend a little time on the listing, test it, see if it works, right? That's the most technical budget friendly. I have a product that has been doing decent. I'm thinking of introducing a variation through Vine, then adding it to the existing variation. Will adding a variation help with sales at all? is Amazon Live still a thing? Amazon Live is still a thing, but I think that has nothing to do with your other question. You're introducing the variation in the Vine, the existing listing. Will adding a variation help with sales at all? Sort of. I mean, review count will go up, right, with the Vine, which that will be good. Always good to have a higher review count. But from looking at it strictly from looking at it from a sales perspective, you're probably not going to see a ton if it's a direct variation. It realistically needs to have a lot more from what's the best way to put this? It needs to have a lot more, I guess, traction is probably the best way to put it, right? So if we're looking at like a variation that is a completely separate product, technically, you can get new keywords, you can get new indexing, and adding that to the parentage can help with sales. But it really depends at the end of the day when we're looking overall at, again, how a product is working, right? And how a parentage is working. But reviews are going to be the thing that actually helps conversion wise. It's unlikely you're going to have like a ton of indexing ranking for like a new variation. Now back to Amazon Live still a thing. Yes, actually it is. Amazon Live absolutely is still a thing. I've seen some good progress recently with it and people utilizing it. I'm always happy to see essentially, people using it. I see it much more often with like really big brands. I don't really see small brands using it. You have to get invite. We have a few accounts that have gotten invites, but we haven't done a ton with it. I'm up in the air. I think it works for a lot of like commodity type products, beauty, health, supplements, things like that. So on and so forth. Say you, I already answered this question. One of three. Do you recommend maximize reach or maximize spend for PPC settings for ads served off Amazon? Settings for ads served off Amazon. Should I optimize off Amazon ads to increase reach or limit off Amazon spend? We want the lowest ACoS possible for a limited budget. Okay, so if your goal is just the just the lowest ACoS possible for a limited budget, then I mean your goal would be to maximize reach and then also to increase reach or limit off Amazon spend, I guess, technically, right? I wouldn't focus on doing something where you are off Amazon targeting through display, I assume, with the idea in mind that like you're trying to limit ACoS, right? Display is not like a great conversion tool for off Amazon targeting. It's great for growing brand awareness and for getting people to know your brand more often. If you have great organic ranking in your category, that helps a ton. But it's not going to long-term help, I guess, or it's not going to short-term be low ACoS. Like that's just not how display works. Can it long-term? Yeah, if you optimize for conversion specific in the targeting, but it doesn't sound like that's really what you're doing there, Josh. Noah, I sell address labels. Business came in a year ago and started charging $4.95 for 50 labels when all other stores were charging about $10 to $12. Now they're ranked alongside every labels in only 1 year. They took advantage of the less than $10, no tracking needed. They get a ton of 1-star reviews and they need to refund. It's frustrating. Yeah, so I mean, if they get a ton of, they probably went the route. This is a pretty common route that I see a lot of people do nowadays to break into smaller niches. And that is, hey, I'm willing to be completely negative profit-wise my entire first year, as long as I essentially am going to be able to rank exceptionally well organically, because then I can raise my price slowly over time and start to actually make money because I'll be, rank 1, rank 2. Being said, if you're saying they get a ton of 1-star reviews, what is their rating, right? Nobody's buying a product that has like a 3.1-star rating when everyone else has, a 5-star rating, even if it's half the price. That's just doesn't happen very often. And the only people that do buy that product are ones that would not buy at the $10 price range. So that's just something to consider. There's not a great way of fighting this. If you think they're doing something nefarious, you can report them, but it doesn't sound like they're. It sounds like they're just willing to, make 1 cent per unit, whereas no one else can do that. Let's see. So for the matured brands, you are looking for more branded keywords, competitor analysis, category analysis. Can we widen the funnel? Yeah, essentially. My Amazon Seller Central account is in UK. Okay. I also sell in Germany using remote fulfillment with FBA. Now I want to send my items directly into Germany's Amazon FBA warehouses. Do I need to open a company in Germany? So yes, you would have to open a Seller Central account within Germany. So remote fulfillment you can do in Germany using remote. Yeah, so your remote fulfillment you can do via UK, but yes, if you want to sell directly and send via FBA, you would be selling on the German marketplace, right? So you have to open an account within Germany and open the Seller Central within Germany. I know. I sell consumables. Is there a way to recover expired units in Amazon? From my inventory ledger report, I have 100 expired units in a specific warehouse. Could these units be shipped to me? Yeah, I mean, they can. If they're expired in some capacity, Amazon usually wants to dispose of expired goods. But yeah, you can ask Amazon to, specifically send them back to you. They should be in stranded technically, but yeah, anything that's expired, you can have Amazon ship it back to you, but most of the time they want to dispose of it. When is the next ASIN review? I don't know. I know Kevin did one recently, but I mean, I could probably do one here in the next couple of weeks, I suppose. I'd be more than happy to. We got Mr. Aspinall. I know. Test a product, run a PickFu, silly. This guy. Viper, Amazon Live is invite only. Yeah, typically. Usually it's invite only. I'm noticing that some ASINs in my auto campaign are generating good clicks and conversions. Should I target these high performing ASINs separately in a manual campaign to optimize performance? Yeah, absolutely. If you ever see that specific things are getting really good traction, then yeah, you always want to separate out into manual to get even more control out of what you are currently doing on them. What's the best way to handle this? Just create your own campaigns. Look at what search terms are being hit specifically for those ASINs and how they are performing against it, and then create your own campaigns against that. Get out of here. John Aspinall is now calling me. I almost guarantee that he is trying to get into this right now. Send me a link to hop on StreamYard. Okay, so we'll have John Aspinall in here, I guess. This guy. I'm just going to let him in, but I'm not going to actually let him on the stage. So he has to sit there and just listen to me. Are any of your brands using TikTok to promote their brand or products? What are your experiences with them if they are using it? Is it worth the investment? Yeah. We've had some clients that do it. It's a 50-50. I think TikTok, like from a UGC standpoint, is way overblown comparatively to what it actually can do. A lot of people last year talked about TikTok Shop being like the Amazon killer. It only did like 12 billion. And it was negative as far as profits go, from a company perspective. So they can't keep up that growth. So it's gonna sit like that forever. Oh, he's in there. He's in the waiting room right now. I'm just not gonna let him in because I think that's really funny. Oh man, what's up, John?
Don't let me in. I don't care. I was going to hang out backstage with all the other Magazoni. What are they called? What are you called? Magnites?
Magzonians?
Magzonians?
That's a Pokemon, I think. Magnemite.
Dude, I was having a bagel and I was listening to this and I was like,
we were talking about PickFu, I know.
The cheapest way is to, someone said PickFu is expensive. Well, anything spending money is expensive if you have to spend it, right? But what are you yielding from it? But like when I hear someone say like, oh, I want to test this product, and you're right, to do 100 units, 50 units, try FBM. But before that, if you're not seeing if it's worthwhile on PickFu, like, yeah, a $50 PickFu is $50, but it could save you from a $10,000 sourcing mistake. No?
I mean, I suppose. I mean, yeah, doing any kind of testing, any kind of A/B at the end of the day, in my opinion, is going to, net better results, right, for a launch strategy. It's one of those things that we actually did have somebody recently who did, it was a website. They were launching on Amazon from like their direct to consumer. And they wanted to see if there was even like a market on Amazon. Like they knew they had competitors, but they wanted to see if there was a market. And so they just like did a giant poll test.
And that's the thing. If you don't do that, what do? You buy the inventory and cross your fingers and hope that it works out. And you know, everyone knows I love PickFu, but it just makes the most sense because you want to. Yes. So what if you spend $50 and you find out it's a flop? Then you spend $50 and you're not bringing that product in. So technically, you're in the whole $50. Yes, numerically and mathematically, yes, but it saved you from sourcing something, right? So it's just a no-brainer. And yes, when people say PickFu is expensive, how are you PickFuing? And what are you using the data for? That's the other thing. I see a lot. I have the all-seeing. I'm the Oracle. I see everything on the back end of what people are PickFuing, and I want to scream sometimes. And I'm like, why would you do that? Because if you're not targeting properly, if you're not then taking that data and actioning on it. So if you have like traditional head-to-head A and B, you know, me versus my competitor. Here's why I won. Cool. But are you not looking at why you lost? Right? Why did you lose? What are they doing better? And then what are you doing on your listing or your product to fix it? Often I see when a lot of people say, oh, I want to see if it's going to sell on Amazon. Correct me if I'm wrong, Noah, or tell me if I'm in the right zone. But usually those kind of folks are talking about commoditized Me Too products. And they want to see like, oh, is my bamboo kitchen utensil organizer going to sell on Amazon? You don't have to run any PickFu. It's not gonna. Don't do it. So that you have to do. I did an article or a video. I forgot what I did recently on this about how to source products. And yes, you have to go to like the Helium 10, the Jungle Scout, the Data Dive, the Smart, the laundry list of tools to see if it's even worth pursuing. But just because it's a high number and they're crushing it, you don't know why they're crushing it. They could have been crushing it because they've been there for years. They could have been crushing it because of the manufacturer directly. They could be crushing it. You know what I'm saying? So I find too many times people are doing commoditized stuff, which makes me cringe. I hate that kind of stuff. Did I cut out? Of course. Why do I bother? Why do I bother my internet cutting out?
Did you cut out? I cut out.
Oh, you cut out. I'm sitting here stopping to talk because it's usually me. And I'm like, oh, why do I even bother with my internet?
I thought that I cut out. I don't know.
Whatever. But
Good thing I have you here now. I agree. I think that the biggest thing that people I think tend to neglect when they are looking specifically at like also doing any type of A/B testing or poll testing is understanding who it is looking at their specific fields, right? Are we looking specifically at the idea of like our audience group? You can't just throw a question out being like, hey, do you think this product would work or compete against X product to a generalized group? I mean, what if it's, I don't know, what's something?
I got a perfect example. Men's multivitamins. If you're not targeting men, and if you're not targeting people that take vitamins, then you're going to get commingled in there. Commingled, little Amazon phrase. You're going to get commingled in there people that are women and people that don't take vitamins giving feedback on your product. And they're going to be like, yeah, I love it. Oh, that's great. But that's a woman who doesn't take vitamins, says she loves it. Well, she's not going to buy it. So it's non-actionable data. So you have to really drill down specifically to who is going to buy your product. You know what I mean?
Simple enough.
Got to use your noodle, folks. Got to use your noodle.
You're noggin. You want to stay around and answer some questions?
I got nothing better to do. It's not like I, work at PickFu and run an agency and, yeah, sure. Come on.
Hey, you call me plenty. You're the one who wanted to come in here. I didn't ask.
Well, someone put, what's a realistic PickFu survey cost for testing a product, realistically speaking? That's Rosina VA. So, yeah. So that's a good question. So realistic is all subjective, right? So testing a product, testing for what? That's what you have to like reverse engineer. What are you testing the product? If it's, wanted in the market, is that color wanted in the market? Is that price wanted in the market? So it depends on what you're testing, right? So if you're testing just the overall concept, you can test with like 30 people, a 30-person poll, and one or two traits, you're looking at $30, right? To see if it's even worth doing. Then now that you know it's okay, it's worth doing, which color should I do? Because the manufacturer maybe offers a million colors. So now you're learning a click test of the color sheet. You can load the click test right from the manufacturer in there and say, you get 3 clicks, click on the top 3 choices. Now you know from the specific avatar and the audience which one is going to which one they're going to want to buy, so you're not getting fatigued with colors. Briefly, you put this up to trigger me on a Friday. Yeah. Briefly, why would we do PickFu or product opinion or external surveys when Amazon A/B testing is there? Great question. Do you want to gamble with your own money first and your own products first, or do you want to know before you go into it? So you can, when you test on Amazon with manager experiments, first of all, you have to be eligible to. You have to be eligible to, and then your product has to be eligible to. So if it's a new product, you cannot do Amazon manager experiments because there's not enough sessions. Is it sessions or views, Noah? I forget.
Sessions.
You don't have enough sessions. So if it's a new product launch, manager experiments out the window, right? Now, if it's something you already have, funny enough, I have a client that is running a MYE after we ran the PickFu on a hero image. The original hero image has the product packaging in the back, and the new one has better product packaging. Amazon won't let them go through the MYE, but will let them go through putting it, loading it. It's being flagged in MYE because of packaging, which is not allowed. But even the original package is not being allowed to run, which has been historically running for 3 years. So it's wild that sometimes you would get bogged up in MYE. But even if you successfully do one, you're looking at 4 to 8 weeks to get statistical data, realistically, unless it's like you put up a really good image and then a picture of a guy doing a thumbs down, where then they're going to end it early because no one's ever buying from that one. So that's the thing. PickFu, you know right away. You want to do both, right? So the winner of the PickFu, then you want to run into an MYE. But again, to answer that, sometimes you can't do an MYE.
I think even more so with that, the biggest thing is Amazon A/B testing is it's not meant to be the same thing as like a PickFu, right? Like especially when we're thinking about how long the testing happens on Amazon, you're not going to get the data that you're truly actually looking for. PickFu is meant for like, I need to understand a change that I am doing right now to get a better idea. Personally, I like doing a PickFu before I even think of doing a manager experiment. And if the PickFu wins, I still sometimes, if it's a close match, am going to throw the A/B experiment out, right? Because the thing you want to focus on manager experiments comes down to usually like conversion, right? What is actually converting better at the end of the day? And that's what matters most of all. So, but if you see immediately that people are likely not going to like the image, let's say a main image on PickFu comparatively to your last one, can pretty much assume that conversion is going to follow that as well if you're not getting the clicks. So that's, I think, a really basic way of kind of saying the differentiator between them all.
And that's the thing too. You can't test on Amazon certain things that you can test on PickFu. So what do I mean by that? You can test on PickFu on a SERP click test. So you can take a screenshot of the SERP, the search engine result page, right? And you can run it in PickFu to see where people are clicking and why they're clicking there. And that's giving you not only information on the image, but also the price point, the reviews. So I'm just going to share my screen here, Noah. I'm being annoying.
No, you're fine. Oh, well, you have that. Journeyman's also asking how reliable is the A/B testing in Amazon. He ran the same test twice and got 2 different results. And that's the issue at the end of the day. It's reliable based on when and how and who is looking at your product, right? That's what it really comes down to at the end of the day. And so you're not always going to get the same result. You know, if you run it
I can't share because I recently switched back to Chrome. Don't ask me why. I know that's like a big thing. Why do you go back to Chrome? But I went back to Chrome because Google Gemini is now integrating in Chrome natively, and I want to play with that. But I'm going to throw the link to the PickFu in the comments over here. I can't put links in comments. Oh, excuse me.
Just send it to me.
Hold on. So here.
We'll look at it. We'll look at it.
Yeah. So I sent you the link. So that's just an example of like an LED red light mask. And you can see the example here. It's not hyper targeted, and it's a small audience because it's just from when I'm doing PickFu videos and YouTube stuff. So, but the main purpose is showing here, you can take an excerpt from the search and the result page and see. So you see those heat maps where people are clicking. They're clicking on the picture. Some of them are clicking on the title. Some of them are, in other ones I find some people are clicking on the coupon code or the price tag or the discount. So you want to see what is really resonating. So you could have a better hero image than your competitor, but they're getting the click because they're $10 cheaper and they have more reviews. Or maybe they're the same price and people are just going based off the reviews. You're never going to know that in Amazon Manager Experiment. They're never going to say, hey, more people click this because they looked at the reviews and they said they like the reviews better and XYZ. So the reason you can't help the reviews, I mean, you can just do better business. I don't know. But you can stop any sort of burn rate that's going to happen with you slamming your head against the wall about, is my main image good enough or not? Well, then it's good enough because the stickler is going to be the reviews, and then pivoting and seeing what can we do? Can we bring stuff together? Can we parentage things and stuff? But you can see from this one, it's the Wild West still out there, Noah. Like you can do like faces, boxes, glowing red, glowing colors, right? But the interesting thing that I found is, even though I hate anything that's RGB, like mice, keyboards, I think it's just like cheesy. The winning one that right there, if you hover over those blurbs, those little like blobs, you'll see that they're saying 9 out of 10 times the color, or they'll say the price and the color. It's that RGB. Every single model here does different colors. They do the red, because I looked at the ASINs directly, but only that one is the one that's showing that it's multicolor function. So I think that's
interesting.
That's a good point, that if you're so bogged down in the product, you're like, okay, yeah, red light is the big thing, but then blue, green, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter because people love options. Now, if that was my brand, how can I make that better? Well, John Aspinall 101, that box, I can't read anything that's on that box. So what's the point, right? So I would say like 7+ colors, multifunction, exactly what the product is, red light therapy mask, all that kind of stuff. But it's just a good example of a way you could test on PickFu. And this PickFu cost for this test, I think, was like $18.
Well, I think more so, it's the interesting part here is that this one, right, is the one that directly says like the colors, but it also shows the colors, right? Whereas this one also has colors, but they don't show that at all. And so
it's funny
that this is the second lowest picked.
That's the one. Those two that are black with the black packaging. In the video I did for the PickFu YouTube channel, I broke down from this. I then went to another testing where I took the URL for that black one for 69 and the URL for the black one that's 59, and then I put the URLs versus each other. So that's another thing you could do on PickFu you can't do on Amazon, is I can cherry pick URLs and put them specifically, and the PickFu respondents are looking at the entire listing, not just a hero image, not just a piece of the A+. They're looking at, so from that end, it's affecting the conversion. So now that you see the whole whammy, like, do you still want to buy from this? And then the third test after that is taking the winner from that and saying, cool, and doing an open-ended test with just a URL. Take a look at this product on Amazon. Does this not show any, how do I word it? Does this not answer any questions that you have? So really going all the way down the rabbit hole and finding the one that's a winner. Now, how can we take that winner and make it even better? What questions do you have that are not being answered by this? And we found that people were saying, well, how do I charge it? How long does it last for? Right. So a lot of times in the beauty category, when it comes to like devices, people forget that it's like, people want to know electrical specs and stuff like that. Right. So you don't want to go too heavy into the features and be like, this lasts 9+ hours with a 4,800 milliamp battery. You want to reword it and say, last all day, XYZ. Right. So people need to know those kind of things. And it's good that I'm showing this, because I get a lot of that where it's like, I could just A/B test on Amazon. Sure, you can go out your window right now and throw a boiling hot pot of water on plants and laugh. You could do anything you want. This is America. You do literally anything you want to do. So the point in saying that is, just because it's there doesn't mean it's the be all end all say all. And there's a lot of things that you can do to optimize. Now, I talk to a lot of folks and they say, yeah, like all those PickFus, that's like $500-$600 across all my products. I'm like, I know, right? That's a great deal. And they're like, no, that's expensive. I'm like, compared to what? Compared to running on Amazon, not knowing, and having an ACoS that's through the roof and looks like my cholesterol level. Like, no, like you don't want to do that. You want to have, like, you have to look at it long term, right? And then what happens if your ACoS, what happens if your ad spend doesn't get, I hear this one, Noah. I'm on Amazon. I think I'm optimized. I'm running ads. I'm not getting clicks. I'm not running out of my ad budget, whatever it is. Like, I'm just not getting the clicks. Well, that's also painful. So you're not wasting money on wasted ads. That's super painful, but you're not selling the product. And then when it comes around to long-term storage fees, and I'm not a logistics guru, but I know that that's super painful. And I don't know when that kicks in, but I do know that around Q4, that's even more painful. So it's like, then what do? Then you scramble. Do you know how many brands I talked to that they literally were like freaking out and just retracted all the inventory back to their house because they weren't selling it, as opposed to having it sit on Amazon? And either I froze or Noah just froze, and I don't know who it was. So I'm just going to keep on talking. Guys, put in the comments below if Noah's frozen or if I'm frozen, because I hope it's Noah and not me.
It was me. It was me.
It was Noah. Cool. Great. So you could just see that my Amazon guy clearly doesn't invest in their employees enough with their internet connection. I'm just kidding. You're freezing again, pal. This is welcome to the John Aspinall Friday AMA. Noah is running on dial-up right now, so he'll be back with you in, I don't know, maybe a couple hours. In the meantime, anyone have an ASIN they want me to tear down while Noah's sitting here just completely frozen, as if he, Iceman from X-Men ran in and froze him? Anyone have any? Oh, are you back?
Am I back?
The
thing is, I can hear you talking the entire time. My ISP is doing work within the area right now, so that's probably why that's happening.
Got it.
That kind of sucks. But hey, at least I got John Aspinall here for the John Aspinall Power Hour.
Listen, pal, it's always a blast hopping on and talking about how people can make more without spending more. And I say that, and people say, but PickFu costs money. But what I mean is without spending more on ads, because ads are super painful, especially if you're in the supplement category. The comments stopped. Why are you guys getting so shy now?
Oh, they love just listening. It's the thing. You have to entice them to put questions in all the time.
All right, $500 credit to my Amazon guy services. Next person that drops an ASIN.
No. Good try. How about a free main image to the next person that drops a question? I'll do that one. Here we go. Sean, I'm stuck with trying to add a text descriptor to the main image. Can John Aspinall help? Can you help him?
Did you pin that comment? It didn't come up. There we go. Yeah, Sean, drop the ASIN.
There you go.
Drop the ASIN. I'll drop the knowledge.
ASIN.
Anyone, any old school people remember ASIN Review Live?
Yeah, so somebody was actually just asking a little bit earlier today. Viper asked when the next ASIN review is. I think probably sometime next week or something like that.
John Aspinall.
We did one recently.
John Aspinall used to do ASIN Review Live. Just saying.
We got 5 minutes, so here's the ASIN.
That's right. Yeah, there you go. Sean dropped his ASIN. Journeyman, you can message me on LinkedIn. I'll help you out. Pull it up.
Let me grab this one.
Watch your computer your computer's gonna croak.
It's not even my computer. My computer's fine.
Fun fact: Noah's streaming from a 1987 Linux. So it's a portable trash bag holder stand. Okay.
I've reviewed this product before.
I think it's wild that you're having issues with putting words there, but you have a lady with a bottle there. So what I would do, I don't know what kind of iteration that you're having right now by putting it up there, but what I would do is this 1000% comes in some sort of packaging. I'm willing to believe this either comes in a brown box or a poly bag. So one or the two I would take, and what I would do is I would put it in the background in between her and the bag where it's behind her arm. And I would put, yeah, that's never, if go back to that image. If you tried that, that's never going to fly. So if that was the one that you had tried previously, A, I can't read it. And B, it's floating in the ether. Even though you think it's attached on there.
There's no way that this would be fine at this point in time.
No. So what I would do is I would take packaging, use packaging as your, by the way, those colorways that you're doing on there, I can't read them. It's making my head hurt and it's Friday. I don't want to think. So take packaging and take a brown box and put exactly what the product is, right? Put a portable trash bag holder stand, right? And then put the little gallon icon on the bottom, 20 to 33 plus, and that's it. That's what you would put on the brown box, or if it's a poly bag, put a white poly bag and don't add a logo, don't get crazy with it, don't do anything like that. And I would put it either behind her, in between her and that bag, or I would put it, yeah, I would put it there, because if you put it in between,
it would be interesting to see.
Yeah,
change out the model and have them throwing away the box for it.
That gives a little bit weird vibes that your product's trash and throwing it out.
Yeah, but they're using the product.
Yeah. Or what you can do is you can put it. Yeah. So I would go with the way that I said it, because think about it like this. I don't need to see her face. Well, yeah, whatever. I don't need to see her face. So technically, you can literally put a box and then the arm coming out of the box, throwing it away. So if you put a box on top of her and just the arm is coming out of the back, tossing it away, you kill two birds with one stone, because I don't need to see her. I really just want to focus on the product. So that's what I would do. And if I had free time, I would mock up the ACIN and send it to you. But I'm a busy goose and can't do that no more.
He is a busy goose. Okay, we got a couple questions, and then we're gonna have to call it because I gotta get out of here. All right. How can I transfer my Amazon? You don't know this. How about this? You answer this one, John. How do you transfer an Amazon account?
You're starting to act like a person that I used to know that used to work at MAG, that no longer works at MAG, that did these kind of questions to me. And that's the reason they don't work at MAG anymore. How can I transfer my Amazon account from one of my business to another? And if I can't, how do you transfer the listing? And how can you transfer the trademark, right? So what I would say to do, right, is I would reverse backwards, transfer the trademark. I would put the trademark, I would give access to brand registry to another email account so that they have access to the brand registry. And that email account is associated with a fresh new business, fresh new Amazon account, because then they have access and rights to using the trademark. And then subsequently, I would then have a new offer on that ACIN listing with the new account, because you can't transfer a listing because technically the Amazon owns the listing. You're just putting an offer up there. Noah, how is that?
Honestly, I mean, not bad. You're missing a couple of steps in there, but not bad. Not bad. Couple of steps you're missing are specifically the account transfer stuff, right? So the areas that you want to do first and foremost is there's this huge misconception that you can't have multiple Amazon accounts in this day and age. You totally can. It's actually pretty easy to transfer all of them. I literally talked to someone through it this morning. You need to change your deposit method, charge method, and charge method for advertising. If you're only doing an asset sale and not the actual business, you're going to have to change address, insurance, as well as legal entity. Then you're going to have to come down to your tax information. You're going to need to change that as well. And then finally, you're going to need to change your login settings. That's going to be pretty much all of the areas you need to touch outside of the actual trademark. The trademark transfer you can do through USPTO, unless you're just taking over this account in general, in which case you just need to, as John said, add a secondary email on there. So you did well. You got there. You did the important part.
Especially it's not my space. Like I don't do that.
Yeah, and I was impressed, to be honest. I thought you were gonna tell me to screw up with it. So
my wife saw a video that I was in, and she goes, "Can you stop doing this?" And she's like, it looks like you're trying to get something out of your tooth. It's because I use Zyn, and now that I'm very cognizant of it now. So
I still do it, even though I don't use them anymore. So I
like the red Us versus Them. I have the black one.
Yeah, this one's kind of sick, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know who to hit up anymore for some free shirts, but
well, this one you can't even get. This was custom. Yeah,
I could go to my local mall and make 10 of them. Stop the nonsense.
Custom. All right, everybody. That is it for the Friday live Q&A. I gotta get out of here. John Aspinall, thank you for hopping on randomly.
PickFu.com. PickFu. Feel free to contact me if you need help with PickFus. Go to Mag's website to sign up for PickFu. Go that route if you're not already in PickFu, so they get the credit. And then once you're signed up through Mag's link, come contact me. Find me on LinkedIn. Find me on Snapchat if you dare. Just kidding. You don't want to see those kind of things. And I will be sure to hook you up where I can. If my bosses at PickFu are watching, I don't mean give out freebie stuff. I mean just help.
He's going to give you everything free. $500 free credits from PickFu.com. Everybody go to myamazonguy.com and go to third-party recommended services and get your PickFu credits. Thanks, everybody.